Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's video. This takes us to around the 21st of October. We'll extend out beyond that into the final week of October with the extended GFS. I'll bring you up to date with what's happening in the tropical Atlantic as well. Of course, we've had Storm Michael, or Hurricane Michael, which is now down to Tropical Storm Michael into the southeastern part of the United States. So I'll bring you up to date with all of the developments there. And, of course, we've got Storm Callum on the way for the UK tonight and tomorrow. So I'll talk you through what's happening with that as well. But before I get on all of that, just a big thank you to the latest donors and patrons for Gazworth. So we've been asking that if you can afford it, you can give us a donation via PayPal or become a Patreon become a patron for Gazworth via Patreon. So I'm going to say big thank you to our latest PayPal donor, NG Leonard. A big thank you to NG Leonard for becoming the latest PayPal donor for Gazworth, and also got a new patron. We're now up to 34 patrons for Gazworth. So I'm going to say a big thank you, and try to get the name right. I'm going to say a big thank you to Yevgeny Bebnev. Big thank you to Yevgeny Bebnev for becoming Gazworth's 34 patron. So if you would like to join Yevgeny or NG Leonard and become a donor or a patron for Gazworth, all you have to do with PayPal, it's very simple. You know, most people have got a PayPal account these days, so you just sign into your PayPal account, come to Gazworth.me PayPal page, this is it, and you can just donate whatever amount of money you would like or can afford to Gazworth. And that's all you have to do. Very simple, very straightforward. With Patreon, what you do with this is you'll have to sign up for a Patreon account, and then you can pledge an ongoing monthly donation. So for PayPal is kind of like a one-off donation. Patreon is kind of like a monthly donation, and then you become a patron for Gazworth, and you just pledge whatever amount of money you would like on a monthly basis. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards. Of course, you can cancel at any time, but the idea is that this is supposed to be an ongoing sort of thing, whereas PayPal is kind of like a one-off. So whichever you would like to do, whichever you would prefer, it's all there for you to be able to do. It's helping us to pay for our website. So essentially, we're primarily ads funded. We're going to remain ads funded as well, but this is just another revenue stream as ad yields are declining year on year for various reasons. So it helps us to pay for website and keep all the content completely free of charge. We won't be going behind paywalls or doing anything like that. We want to keep content totally free as you want it on demand, and this is just another revenue stream for Gazworth. A big thank you to NG Leonard and to Yevgeny Bebnev for becoming the latest donors and patrons of Gazworth. A big thank you to all of the donors and patrons. Gazworth has been running this for since June. I think so. It's in June, and been completely blown away by the response to it. So a big, big thank you to all of the donors and all of the patrons for Gazworth. Right, so let's get on with the video then. We're going to start off by seeing what's going on in the tropical Atlantic. Got 3 areas of interest still. We've got Nadine down here, tropical storm. Nadine is currently giving sustained winds of 65 miles an hour. I'll show you what the National Hurricane Centre is forecasting to happen with Nadine over the next few days. So that's the current position of Nadine. By Saturday, down to a tropical depression. Doesn't really go on beyond that, so I assume Saturday will be the end of Nadine. And then, of course, we've got Leslie up here, the old storm, currently Category 1 Hurricane Leslie, but it's been a storm, it's been a post-tropical storm, it's been a hurricane, you name it, it's been doing it. It's been meandering around, going nowhere fast for at least a couple of weeks. Very, very long-lasting storm. As I say, at the moment, it's a Category 1 hurricane, giving sustained winds of 80 miles an hour. And the track for Leslie is to be doing something like this over the next few days. So current position is just there. Hurricane Leslie will then head towards going towards the Canary Islands, that sort of area. Going down to a tropical storm, and then sort of turning back on itself and going back again in towards the tropical Atlantic. It gets downgraded then to become a post-tropical storm and eventually a post-tropical depression. Whether that's the end of this with this storm, I don't know. It has been down to post-tropical status before, and then it's ramped itself up again. So up to Monday, anyway, we can say it is still meandering around there, quite close to the Canary Islands. And what happens beyond that with it, we'll just have to wait and see. But it must be going towards a record for a long-lasting storm, really, because it's been going on for a very long time. It's still there as some sort of feature anyway on Monday. And then we've got Michael. This is Tropical Storm Michael. Now was a major Category 4 hurricane as it made landfall on that Gulf Coast of the United States yesterday. It's moved inland now. It's heading into the Carolinas. And the latest track for Michael is to be doing something like this. So at the moment, it's kind of like Georgia to South Carolina, that sort of area. It's going to move northwards in towards North Carolina and Virginia, and then curve out into the Atlantic as a post-tropical storm. Gets caught up in the jet stream and moves very rapidly. It must be a really strong jet stream you've got coming across the Atlantic now. Moves across the Atlantic so that by 2 a.m. on Monday morning, it's somewhere off the coast of Ireland and southwest England. It'll just be an area of low pressure by that point. So after that, there's not much sign of anything else happening in the Atlantic, but this is turning into a surprisingly active season. We expect this to be a quiet hurricane season, but it has turned into a surprisingly active season. We'll wait and see whether we get any more developments over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. It will be interesting to see that. Right, so I say we've got Callum as well, Storm Callum. This isn't a hurricane or a tropical storm, but it's an area of low pressure, has been named by the UK Met Office and Met Aaron. So it's heading in through the course of tomorrow. I'll run you through the animation. This is from UK Met Office Twitter feed from yesterday. They were saying Friday's weather system has been named as Storm Callum by Met Aaron. The strongest winds are likely across Western Ireland. Though northwest parts of the UK can expect severe gales, the main impacts for the UK will be heavy rain across the western areas Friday and Saturday. Let's run you through the little animation that we've got here. Looks quite cool, I have to say. There it comes. There's Callum moving in through the course of tonight into tomorrow. It's off to the west of Scotland. There's the strongest winds wrapped around Callum, heading in from off the Atlantic. And there's the rain, some really heavy rain for northwestern parts of England and down to Wales as well. So wet and windy weather on the way over the next couple of days. This is the high resolution arpege wind gust forecast from the weatheroutlook.com. You can see starting off right now, and it's actually pretty blowy out there already across the northwest, but you'll see through the course of today how the winds are going to be ramping up, especially as we go into tonight. That's 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. Gale force winds pushing up the Irish Sea. 70 mile an hour winds being forecast there for southern parts of Ireland. Sort of 50 to 60 through the Irish Sea into southwest Scotland. And then into the early hours, the wind just increases. This is 7 a.m. tomorrow. So 70 mile an hour gusts of wind up the Irish Sea, heading into southwestern parts of Scotland. Real battering for western parts of the country. The worst of winds actually to the very, very far northwest, where we are seeing tomorrow afternoon forecast gusts of kind of like 70 to 80 miles an hour for western parts of Scotland, just down into Northern Ireland as well. So that's just off out into the Atlantic, but it may give a swipe of real severe gales to northwestern parts of the country. It's a windy day for all of us, actually. You'll notice even across kind of like the Midlands, the arpege model, and down southwest and central England, the arpege model is forecasting sort of 40, 50 mile an hour gusts. The far southeast of England, around 40 mile an hour gusts tomorrow afternoon. So it'll be a blowy day for all of us, but the worst of it will be in the northwest. So those winds do then moderate as we go through in Saturday, although another fairly strong gust of wind actually for England and Wales during the course of Saturday afternoon and into Saturday evening. So we'll have to see how strong they are getting. Up to around 50 or 60 miles an hour possible there for parts of Wales and northwest England in particular through the course of Saturday. Not only is there going to be those strong winds, there will also be heavy rain with this as well. So let's just bring you up to date with the rain forecast from Storm Callum, and this is what the model is predicting through the rest of today. Rain is pushed across. That's showery rain, but this is the wet weather moving in with Storm Callum overnight tonight. So tomorrow, very wet across many western parts of the country, and then that rain just gets a bit stuck through the course of tomorrow, really across southern parts of Scotland, northern, particularly northwestern England, down to Wales, southwest England, possibly into the Midlands at times as well. Some really quite wet weather moving through there during the course of late Friday. And then into Saturday, another pulse of really heavy rain moving across Wales, northern England and much of Scotland. And then that eventually swings across England and Wales, and that will see Callum then moving away, or the weather fronts from Callum moving away. So wet and windy sums it up for Friday and Saturday for the northwest, but all the time in the southeast it is going to be really quite warm. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the GFS here on the top. Got the ECM on the top, and the GFS is on the bottom, which I'll have a look at in a moment. 500 millibars, 85 feet is an area in the absolute high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, red and orange to high pressure. ECMWF is showing an area of above average heights down to the southwest. So high pressure down to southwest, low pressure to the northwest, and quite a strong flow coming in off the Atlantic in the week to 10-day time frame. That looks unsettled, I have to say, and the GFS is very similar. Again, we've got the below average heights up to the north with the above average heights down to the south. There's a strong jet stream indicated by the black lines coming across the Atlantic. So wet, windy and unsettled in the 7 to 10 day time frame with both the GFS and the ECMWF. These are the GFS ensembles of the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. For this point in the year, we're looking at London today, so you'll see more warm weather coming up. It's pretty warm out there today, not quite as warm as it was yesterday, but even so, low 20s Celsius. That's Saturday, and we may lift the temperature on Saturday afternoon to 25 degrees. That's 77 Fahrenheit, not far off 80 Fahrenheit in the southeast on Saturday afternoon. That's the 13th of October. It will probably be the warmest 13th of October on record. A date record looks very, very likely for the 13th of October. But then after that, a very quick collapse in the temperature into Sunday. And then beyond that, basically, we're keeping quite close to the to average as we go into this middle part of the month. Notice, though, for the final week of October, it's a very long way out, it's this period just here, but for the final week of October, we are seeing signs actually going colder than average, dipping below the 30-year temperature average. So over the 2 weeks, there's actually quite a dramatic change going on there from really warm to start off with to colder than average potentially through that last week of the month. And just regular precipitation spikes, so it does look as though the weather's turning much more unsettled from around now onwards, but gradually getting more and more unsettled, particularly through the course of next week. Not a surprise, given those 500 millibar height anomalies. So this is how the GFS is looking for Saturday. And again, we've still got the weather fronts from Storm Callum draped out and stuck across the north and the west. Ahead of it, warm air is being pumped up from the south. So that's the reason we might lift the temperature into mid-20s Celsius across East Anglia and southeast England on Saturday afternoon. But behind that front, the air coming from the northern Atlantic is much, much cooler. We move through into Sunday. We push that front across the country, introduce much cooler air from off the Atlantic, pushed away all of that warmth. Then as we go through next week, it just gradually gets more and more unsettled. There's deep areas of low pressure heading in from off the Atlantic. You see, all the time the wettest weather is likely in the north and west, but driest weather in the south and southeast. But it won't be completely dry in the southeast. There will be rain coming through at times. That takes us through to day 10, which is Sunday 21st of October. Just building a little bit of a ridge up from the south, but this is still looking like a very unsettled pattern. And then beyond that, actually we pull that ridge out in the middle of the Atlantic on this particular GFS run and start to introduce quite a cold northerly wind. And this takes us into a much colder final week of October. There we are on Thursday the 25th of October, pulling down a proper Arctic northerly then. So night frost becoming widespread across many parts of the country, if that's right, and showers probably turning wintry up across the north as well. That's how we finish up on this GFS run. Saturday the 27th of October. Still looking pretty cold, really. We're bringing down those northerlies, and we are building some heights to our north as well. So a cold end to October is possible there, if that GFS run is right. Do bear in mind that's a very long way off. In terms of the temperatures over the next few days, this is how they're looking. A warm day today with southeast into a low 20s. Not quite as warm as yesterday, but even so, warm enough. A pretty mild night coming up for most parts of the country tonight. And another warm day tomorrow. Again, temperatures into the low 20 Celsius across the southeast tomorrow. Mid to upper teens elsewhere. And that's despite that, there'll be a lot of cloud and that wind and rain around as well. A very warm night on Friday night. These are the minimum temperatures at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. Look at that. Most parts of England and Wales at around 17 or 18 degrees. That is exceptionally warm. That would be a record-breaking warm night, I would have thought, for the 13th of October. And even warmer by day on Saturday. This could be a truly remarkable day, Saturday the 13th, in terms of these warm temperatures. After that exceptionally warm night, the maximum temperature is forecast there to be around 25 to 26 degrees somewhere across eastern England. Exceptionally warm for the middle of October, and will be a date record for the 13th. But then on Saturday night, that all gets pushed away by that front temperatures beginning to drop substantially. So these are maximum temperatures at 6 p.m. on Sunday. And look at that. We have lost something like 10 to 12 degrees of the temperature from Saturday to Sunday across eastern parts of England. A dramatic plunge in the temperature will be really very, very noteworthy indeed. As we go through into 6 a.m. on Monday, look, temperatures are down into single digits. What a change from Saturday through to Monday. And then for the rest of next week, the temperatures are pretty cool, really around average, but certainly nothing particularly exceptional showing up there. Single digit temperatures by night, low to mid-teens Celsius by day, exactly what you'd expect through the middle part of October. So once this exceptional warmth gets pushed away on Saturday, it looks like it's gone. And then, of course, beyond that, we may well be setting up a cold end to October. East MDF looks like that. So again, pushing this front across the country as we go from Saturday into Sunday, introducing that cooler air. And then into next week, just looks very unsettled, low pressure, moving in off the Atlantic, bringing bouts of wet and windy weather up to day 10. That is the chart for day 10, Sunday 21st of October, and it looks unsettled. We've got to nail down the timings of those rain bands and drier interludes, of course, but overall, this looks like a much more unsettled spell we are entering now. And then finally, the GM looks like that. So again, pushing that front across the country at midnight on Sunday, clearing away all of that exceptional warmth we're going to have on Saturday in the east and the south. And then going to next week's weather, and it looks very unsettled. Low pressure racing in from off the Atlantic, bringing batches of wet and windy weather. Will be drier interludes in between. That's how we look at day 10. A classic sort of autumnal chart, that low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. It's unsettled. There's outbreaks of rain, especially for central parts of the country. And of course, if we could run out a little bit beyond that, we would possibly find this high pressure pulling out in the middle of the Atlantic and turning winds into the north to give us a cold end to October. That's speculative at the moment, but it did look quite well supported actually by the GFS ensembles, but bear in mind that's in the unreliable time frame. So I suspect that's something we'll probably be talking about a little bit more next week. Coming back to a more reliable time frame, which is the next week to 10 days. So we've got very warm. We've got Storm Callum coming up tomorrow, of course, tonight, tomorrow, and the rain from that will still be around on Saturday. Ahead of it, we drag up this exceptional warmth for Saturday. Saturday could be a remarkable day, both with the minimum temperatures overnight Friday to Saturday, and then Saturday's maximum temperatures, which are looking like we're going to get quite close to 80 Fahrenheit in the southeast. But once that gets pushed away overnight, Saturday into Sunday, we are then off and running into genuinely autumnal conditions, wet and windy through much of next week with bouts of wet weather, although there will be drier interludes in between. And those temperatures, the changes from sort of Saturday to Monday, where we lose something like 10, 12 degrees, maybe more, within a few hours, will be really quite remarkable. Right, tomorrow we've got JMA Friday, which will be your month ahead, look ahead, and we'll also have a week to 10-day update as well, so come back for that tomorrow. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.